With the appeals process over, let's see where we stand now on all the punishments. Garrett's indefinite suspension was upheld. He will have to apply for reinstatement during the offseason. Marquise Pouncey's suspension for punching and kicking Garrett was reduced from 3 games to 2 games. He will still miss, as a result, the rematch between these teams next week. And Browns defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi's 1-game suspension for shoving Rudolph in the back was also upheld. So let's have everyone just sort of give one thought on what it is that we've seen here. Vilma, I'll give you the first word. Now that we have sort of sat back and taken in all that we have as far as information, what are your thoughts?
If it were me, I would have made sure that I would have stayed the aggressor in that situation, and I would have made sure that everybody knew exactly what was said and what happened down in that scrum. Because in this day and age, with social media, with as much as we covered it, there is no reason to hide what he said. Everyone needs to know what he said, because this can't happen for the league. It is ugly for the NFL when you have black players, white players, Mexican players, whoever it is playing, right? And then all of a sudden we're talking about racial slurs being mentioned when you're in the middle of a game. So if it were me, I would have handled it much differently than Myles Garrett.
Then Myles Garrett, you're saying,
Myles Garrett
has.
Yes.
Mark, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I still think Rudolph, there's no need to exacerbate the situation. Once your helmet comes off, dude, move on. Like, don't go chase him. Don't go chase him. There's nothing good coming out of that. I still think he should have either been fined or suspended at least 1 game.
You were surprised that there was no discipline, at least that we're aware of, for Rudolph in this.
I think so.
Bobby, your thoughts?
Real quickly, when I look at this, Myles Garrett did allude to something potentially being said after the game, and if he did want to keep, if he did want to keep it quiet, I do respect that, in the sense that I'm talking in this appeals meeting. I didn't think this was meant for broad dissemination. I didn't necessarily want everybody in the league to know about this, because I didn't want to try to label Mason Rudolph as a racist or whatever it could have been. And so if that is the case, I respect it. But the NFL, I don't think they took this lightly. They probably reviewed all the audio, and you don't necessarily say one person's lying, but either it happened or it didn't. And there was enough people and probably enough audio that the NFL felt pretty solid about their decision.
Well, that to me is the conclusion that I reach, is that something terrible happened here either way. So one of 2 things I think is true. There's no third option. Either Mason Rudolph said something despicable on a football field, or Myles Garrett is lying about that, and either one of those is terrible, and I don't see a third option here. I would love for there to have been some other kind of mistake, because you hate to see something like this happening in this game that all of us love. But at the end of the day, I think one of those 2 things is the truth here. We may never fully know. People will have their opinion on what it is.
If it did happen, it absolutely needs to be addressed. That's what stinks about it. Like, I would have rained to the heavens, everyone, this is what happened. This is why I acted that way. By the way, I don't act that way normally. If I'm Myles Garrett, this is what happened, and we need to address it. NFL, you're supposed to step in and help us out, help me out about a player saying this to me. I don't know if it happened. I'm just saying that's how I would have reacted.
Right. Again, you heard Adam Schefter say the NFL did what sounds like a comprehensive investigation into this and did not find any evidence of what Myles Garrett is alleging. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.